The day the albino dragon fell from the sky, the entire scrapyard went silent. Rusted cranes stopped mid-swing, welding torches flickered out, and even the wind seemed to hesitate as the massive white body crashed through the outer wall of gritstone industrial yard, sending gears and steel plates flying like frightened birds. Armin Kale, human mechanic, war veteran, and the kind of man who trusted bolts more than people, was the first to run toward the smoke instead of away from it. He expected a reactor breach, maybe a smuggler's crashed cargo ship. What he found instead was a creature out of myth, a colossal albino dragon, scales pale as fresh snow, wings twisted unnaturally, one hind leg bent at a sickening angle, its silver eyes wide with pain but burning with a quiet, unbroken fury. In a world where humans were tolerated but rarely respected among the Interstellar Alliance, dragons were feared royalty, ancient, powerful, untouchable. And this one was broken. Paralyzed from the waist down, if Armin's quick assessment was right. The dragon tried to roar, but the sound came out fractured, more breath than thunder. Workers shouted to call the authorities, to report an incident, to clear out before Dragonkin arrived with fire and judgment. Armin ignored them. He stepped closer, palms open, voice steady. "Easy," he muttered, like he would to a damaged engine sputtering on its last spark. "You're not scrap." "Not yet." The dragon's massive head shifted, nostrils flaring as if measuring his scent, his worth. Instead of attacking, it simply stared, exhausted, humiliated, alive. Later, the reports would say the albino dragon, a rare genetic anomaly among its kind, had been shot down by poachers seeking its scales and blood. Its wings had been shredded by pulse cannons, its spine damaged when it crashed through the upper atmosphere. No dragon healer would touch it. Paralysis was considered a death sentence among their species. A dragon that could not fly was already a ghost. But Armin had spent his life rebuilding ghosts. He had grown up in the undercities of Terra 9, where discarded machines became survival, where broken things weren't abandoned, they were reimagined. As the authorities delayed, debating jurisdiction and species protocol, Armin made a decision that would rewrite more than just one creature's fate. He locked down the yard gates and told his crew to either help or leave. Most left. A few stayed. Over the next weeks, the scrapyard became a sanctuary and a laboratory. Armin studied dragon anatomy through restricted Alliance archives, cross-referenced spinal data with exosuit schematics, and worked 18-hour days designing a mechanical support rig unlike anything ever built. He spoke to the dragon constantly while he worked, even after learning its name through a halting psychic whisper, Varinth. The name carried the echo of storms. "You're not done," he'd say, tightening titanium braces shaped to fit between scaled ridges. "I've seen worse odds." Varinth could not move its hind legs, but its eyes followed him everywhere. There was intelligence there. Pride. And slowly, trust. When Armin first attached the prototype spinal stabilizer, a fusion of neural interface tech and reinforced alloy struts, the Alliance Council threatened legal action. Humans were not authorized to experiment on dragon physiology. Armin's response was simple, "Then you fix him." Silence followed. So he continued. The breakthrough came on a rain-soaked evening when Armin integrated a bioconductive mesh that translated neural impulses into mechanical motion. He had used similar systems to help injured dockworkers walk again. But this was different. This was a creature whose wings could eclipse buildings. As he activated the rig, power cells humming, Varinth tensed. The first twitch was small, barely a tremor in the massive tail. But Armin saw it. He laughed, a raw, disbelieving sound. "That's it. Again." Sweat mixed with rain on his brow as he recalibrated sensitivity. The second movement was undeniable. The dragon's hind claw scraped against concrete. Workers watching from the gantries gasped. News drones began to circle. Over months, progress came in brutal increments. There were setbacks, overloaded circuits, feedback surges that knocked Armin across the bay, days when Varintha's pain manifested as ground-cracking roars. Through it all, Armin refused to quit. He reinforced the wings with carbon fiber lattice to compensate for muscle atrophy, built hydraulic boosters that synced with the neural mesh, and slept beside the dragon's foreleg when storms triggered phantom pain. The galaxy mocked him at first. A human playing dragon healer. But views of the scrapyard feeds skyrocketed. Comment threads filled with disbelief, then hope. The day Varinth stood unaided, truly stood, mechanical supports humming in perfect harmony with living muscle, the entire yard trembled. Armin stepped back slowly, afraid that even his breath might shatter the moment. The albino dragon extended its wings, once tattered and useless, now reinforced yet magnificent. For a heartbeat, fear flickered in those silver eyes. What if it failed? Armin met that gaze and nodded. No grand speech. Just faith. Varenth leapt. The first attempt ended in a heavy crash that split the concrete. Armin ran to him, checking connections, ignoring the taste of blood where he'd bitten his tongue. Again, he whispered. The second leap caught wind. The hydraulic boosters roared in sync with a thunderous wing beat. Dust spiraled. Metal screamed. And then, impossible, undeniable, Varenth lifted. Higher. Higher. The albino dragon, once discarded as a living corpse, soared above Gritstone Yard, sunlight igniting his white scales into a blazing comet against the sky. The mechanical rig did not replace his strength, it amplified it, translated will into motion. The city fell silent as shadow passed overhead. Dragons across the sector felt it, a paralyzed outcast flying again. Varenth circled once before descending, landing with controlled power that rattled windows for miles. When his massive head lowered before Armin, it was not submission. It was acknowledgement. Respect between species long divided by arrogance and misunderstanding. In the weeks that followed, alliance laws changed. Collaborative medical tech programs opened between humans and dragons. Armin's design became the foundation for interspecies rehabilitation systems. But in the quiet moments, none of that mattered as much as the simple sight of Varenth practicing short flights at dusk, each one stronger than the last. The galaxy had believed flight was the privilege of the unbroken. A human mechanic proved it belonged to the determined. And maybe that's the real HFY, not that humans are the strongest, or the richest, or the most feared. It's that we look at the impossible, at the fallen, at the paralyzed dreams of the world, and we pick up a wrench instead of walking away. If this story of resilience, hope, and human ingenuity inspired you, if you believe broken doesn't mean finished, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more powerful HFY stories where humanity rises, rebuilds, and reminds the universe why we matter. Because the next legend might just begin in a scrapyard.